Today we're looking at a truly legendary lightsaber, but it's no Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. It's a take on the original Starkiller lightsaber from The Force Unleashed, brought to life by Theory Sabers. Welcome to the Outpost treasure chest, where we review everything Star Wars and more. And before we dive into the hilt, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Starkiller. Galen Marek, codenamed Starkiller, is Darth Vader's secret apprentice in Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Trained from childhood to hunt down Jedi, he's one of the most powerful Force users in Legends, known for his raw, aggressive combat style. His original lightsaber is a rugged, industrial-looking hilt with a bright red blade, a symbol of his dark side allegiance to the brutal path Vader set him on. This saber becomes iconic for Starkiller's lightning-fast, ferocious fighting, making it one of the most memorable designs in the expanded Star Wars universe. Fun fact, in early concept art for The Force Unleashed, Starkiller was designed to wield not one but two lightsabers from the very start, but developers decided he should start with a single saber to reflect his growing power. By the sequel, he finally embraces dual wielding, showing his progression as a Force powerhouse. Full disclosure, I did receive this saber free of charge from Theory Sabers, but that has no bearing on my review of this saber. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. As usual, we don't do full unboxings here, but here you have your top of the box, the usual. Inside, fulfill your destiny with a little bit of damage from the saber. And of course, inside the box, you have your Theory Sabers lightsaber stand along with your stickers and booklet. And then you have the toolkit box that has the blade plug, Allen key, retention screws, and charging cable. And of course, your beautiful red velvet bag, typically used to clean the saber, but I don't think you'll need that for this saber. And then of course, we have the saber itself, Starkiller, The Force Unleashed version 1. Let's take a look at that. It's already weathered. Yeah, there's not much to say. It's an amazing looking piece already right out of the box, or right out of the bag rather. Going over some details though, if you look at the meditation scene in the game, you'll notice some slight differences. Like here, there's like a copper piece that kind of matches this. Here, this black piece is a little bit smaller. These bars that are inside those ribs there, or more toward the front, protecting the saber, or this is not bad. I mean, it's really close. Overall, this is really close. And in some scenes, I noticed when he's fighting Vader at the end in the snow, it looks just like this. The saber there's no copper piece, so it looks just like this saber right here. And this one here is loaded with the prequels fonts, and we'll go ahead and turn it on. So nice exposed crystal. You can see down in there, it's Proffi. So it's got the small lights and the pins for the pixel blade. Your two buttons are here. So this is your ignition and your auxiliary. This should be green. So cool. Easy twist to turn on and off. This thing is fairly light actually. I say still that the Annie 3 and the Roger Christian Origin Saber are my heaviest out of all the sabers. But I gotta say, overall, right off the bat, just out of the bag, feels like it jumped right out of the game. Even with like those minor details, it's solid, it's great, it's just very cool. All right, so the emitter here, you have some retention screws. This does come off here, so you just make sure that it's screwed in as much as it can be. It does have 3 retention screws, so you can see one kind of hiding right there. I'm not sure if that's like paint damage or something, but there is another retention screw here. As you turn it, sorry, I'll turn it this way. That's the first retention screw. And here's the third. I don't have a retention screw here because you can actually only access to when putting the blade, and we'll go over that in a bit. You have your greeblies here. They are removable. I won't remove them, but this does expose the blade. But on the other side, which is also removable, this has a shine through. So you can see that blinking through. Tighten that. It's got the bunny ear, so it does kind of mirror Vader Anakin saber with this kind of bunny ear look and, you know, Graphic style overall. And then this was the first time I had ever seen an exposed crystal when I first played this game. So this is what really made me want to grab this saber, was having that original exposed crystal. It's a Proffi, so it kind of turns off on its own. You don't have to worry about turning it on and off. It's got these game accurate kind of rivets, which are actually just Allen key screws. I did take this all apart and it's kind of rough. Moving down here, I don't recall seeing screws go into these pieces in the game, but they have regular Phillips head screws in there, and I did take them off. They just hold these little bars onto the hilt. Then moving down, here's where the copper should be. This black piece should be a little bit smaller, and then the bottom, the pommel is actually kind of really cool. Let's see if we can zoom out here. It's got this really cool design that I wasn't sure was in the game, but it's got a really cool gear there. And it comes off in the normal three pieces. This feels really soft the way it unscrews here. It feels like there's like some rubber or something in there, but there's not. So we'll take this off. Nice. Here's your core. There is no kill switch on this one. As usual, I write on the cores and the batteries for which they belong to not mix them up with all the sabers that I do have. And this is the connector type that it has. But overall, it's got great sound, great movement. Obviously, it's a Proffi, so it's got great smooth swing. All right, we'll put this back together. Be cool if we could put it back together like Galen Marek does in the game. Use some meditation. The weathering job is actually pretty cool the way it came, but I would say that the paint is kind of like rubs off a little bit. I don't think you can tell on camera, especially when I first got it. This kind of grayish wash just kind of rubs off a little bit and then kind of leaves a residue of paint on your hands, but it's not horrible. Let's put a blade in it. It did come with a 36-inch blade, but we're going to use a smaller one for the sake of room. All right, so here is where I'll go over the retention screw. I'd call it an issue because you can only utilize 2 retention screws out of this, and I'll show you why. And so you also really can't put a blade plug in here either, unless you have the retention screws popping out, and you'll also see when I pop the blade in here. All right, so right now the this emitter is very loose. You can't tighten it. So what I do is I'll pop the blade in, and then I'll tighten the retention screw closest to where it needs to be, where the emitter needs to be tightened in as much as I can, but it will never go in as much. It won't be flush. So you can't tighten the emitter all the way. It'll just go up to there. You can see that kind of hits the wall there. And then I'll go in and tighten the other one as tight as I can. Again, always being careful not to crack the blade. I mean, they're very strong blades, so I'm not worried about cracking them. Like I said before, they get run over with trucks. I'm just not gonna do that myself. All right, So there you go. You can see the retention screws don't go all the way, but that's pretty much with almost all the blades. It's hard to get retention screws flush in there, but you can only utilize 2 and it still kind of turns, but it doesn't affect the use of the saber. Like there's no wobble when you're using it. But let's do a little bit of spinning, turn this on and see what it looks like. Beautiful smooth swing. Yeah, it's not the best to wield without a glove. I would use, I think, a glove because the control box is a little sharp here. But if you hold it here, or I think also if you want to do like a Galen style kind of hold, you would hold it kind of covering the exposed part of the blade, and that's like the most comfortable you can get it, where it won't kind of cut into you, I think. I mean, overall, feels good doing it like that. And yes, as stated before, if you're curious, like the Proffieboard in this thing is amazing. I've never had a problem with Proffi and Theory Sabers. Beautiful smooth swing. Super responsiveness from this one. It has all the features like music and scenes like the Roger Christian had. If you hadn't seen that one, you can check that out somewhere here. I'll post a link to it. Check it out after. So you hold the power button for like 2 seconds and it'll start music. And then when the blade is, you hold the power again, it'll turn it off. When you have the blade on and you have the blade pointed up or the hilt pointed up, it does the music as well when you hold the button for 2 seconds. However, if you have the blade pointed down, you'll typically have some sort of scene.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this. Vader, release him.
As you wish.
So cool. All right. Also, to cycle through the fonts, you go through the auxiliary button.
Commander Skywalker, do you copy?
Beautiful. Sorry, I just had to see that blade. Now say I wanted to go back to Vader, then I would just turn the hilt upside down and then auxiliary button, and it would go back to the font that I was just on. So cool. Let's see. On this particular one, on the, is it prequels? Sequels. My bad. It's the sequels font package. This one has like 4 Lukes and like 3 Vaders.
Commander Skywalker, do you copy?
So we saw that Skywalker, and then it's Vader from Empire Strikes Back. Same blade, same look, but the music is different and the scene is different. Let's see what the scene is. Oh wait. Turn off the music. Turn on the blade. Put it upside down.
Vader, the fleet has moved out to flight speed and we're preparing to...
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral. Captain Piet.
Yes, my lord.
Make ready to land our troops beyond their energy field, then deploy the fleet so that nothing gets off the system. You are in command now, Admiral Piet.
Rest in peace, Admiral Piet, the actor. The man survived Vader's wrath. Let's see.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
And then now you have Luke from Return of the Jedi. Beautiful Samuel Kim music. And then I think for his scene sound, it is choking out the Rancor. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it's supposed to be. Next is Vader, Return of the Jedi. And then music. All right, now see what the font is for Vader. Beautiful. Anakin's redemption, destroying the Emperor. Let's see what else we got in here. This one is cool. Not sure what it is, but the way it ignites and turns off is amazing. So big shout out to Kyberphonic for these amazing fonts. It has like this hum to it that's like it's almost like it's almost like Morgan Elsbeth, but it's not quite. It could be, but the alarm leads me to believe that it's not. Sounds so cool.
He's been working on that thing for weeks.
All
What
right.
kind of lightsaber could he possibly build with the junk we have laying around?
Ezra Bridger. Well, Zebrelios for Ezra Bridger's first lightsaber. I like the attention to detail on Ezra's first lightsaber because it sounds like a child's lightsaber. Like it's very like small sounding. Sorry. It's very small sounding. Oh, my bad. And then that sounds like the blaster that's attached to that he made his saber out of. All right, and then this is Ezra's next saber.
Ezra Bridger.
His green saber when he's more mature.
Master Kenobi?
I am, and when you have your strength, I will help you on your way.
This is that scene when Ezra shows up to Tatooine to try to get a hold of Obi-Wan Kenobi to help the rebellion and ends up lowering Maul to him. That's why the next font is...
Look what has become of you. A rat in the desert.
Beautiful.
He's no good to me, dear.
Of course, you don't get the full effect on the Kaboom font without the bigger blade. 36-inch blade will show that perfectly, but this doesn't get old. Amazing. Deceived has some of my favorite music. Shout out to Nia for this amazing font. Well, Kyberphonic, but still making it for Nia for his custom saber that released sometime last year. Just like makes you want to start a battle. Ooh, TIE Fighter?
What is it? Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
and then we cycle back. To wrap things up, this Starkiller lightsaber from Theory Sabers blew me away. To go from having it in the game to in my hands is unreal, and as game accurate as you can be to have a lightsaber like this. So shout out to Theory Sabers for sending this out for free. Like I said, my only issues were with this portion up here, and I think it's a great saber to have in any Starkiller fans collection. Also, if you found any value in this video, it would mean a great deal if you can hit that like button, sub, make sure that you share so that we can get everyone entered for the 500 sub giveaway of the Ritualist lightsaber that I reviewed in the last video, signed by Theory, Kyberphonic, and Roger Christian, running out of breath here. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Outpost Treasure Chest so you can see what's coming up, whatnot shows, and things like that. So if you're looking for more saber reviews, check out the playlist here somewhere on the screen. Hope to see you in the next one. Optic, out.